3 million years ago, early hominins survived in small, mobile bands across a hostile landscape. Lacking sharp teeth, claws, or natural armor, they were highly vulnerable prey for apex predators. The mastering of fire and the production of sharp flakes by species like Homo erectus shifted this dynamic. Cooking meat increased their caloric intake, driving brain growth, while fire provided the heat and defense necessary to migrate out of Africa and into the colder climates of Europe and Asia. Around 12,000 years ago, global temperatures warmed. As massive ice sheets retreated and ecosystems shifted, nomadic bands adapted by attaching microliths to wooden handles to hunt smaller game. They also began gathering wild grains and experimenting with localized animal domestication. In regions like the Fertile Crescent, societies took active control of their environment by cultivating crops like wheat and barley. This steady, reliable food supply allowed populations to concentrate, growing settlements like Jericho to hold thousands of inhabitants behind defensive stone walls. Replacing daily foraging with predictable crop yields generated massive calorie surpluses. This excess freed portions of the population from food production, creating the necessary conditions for specialized labor, distinct social hierarchies, and permanent urban living. As river valleys in Mesopotamia and China swelled with millions of people, tribal structures gave way to complex bureaucracies. Managing land, water, and resources at this scale required organized governance and kings who maintained control by claiming absolute divine authority. Sumerian administrators developed cuneiform to log grain surpluses and track regional trade. These clay tablets functioned as specialized economic ledgers for centuries before the technology was ever used to record literature or law. Along the Nile, Egyptian pharaohs weaponized this level of organization alongside deep religious devotion to mobilize tens of thousands of laborers. The result was structural engineering so precise that monuments like the pyramids of Giza remain intact after 5 millennia. By 1274 BC, these regional powers were colliding. The Battle of Kadesh between Egypt and the Hittite Empire involved thousands of war chariots and ended in a highly codified, written peace treaty, proving the existence of complex international diplomacy. Around 1200 BC, this interconnected system collapsed. Major urban centers burned, entire populations fled the ruins, and centuries of knowledge vanished, resulting in a sudden and widespread loss of global literacy. The extreme specialization and reliance on long-distance trade that made Bronze Age states powerful also made them brittle. When a combination of drought, internal rebellion, and seaborne invasions disrupted their supply lines, the entire network failed. The Bronze Age collapse left a massive geopolitical vacuum. Iron, being far more abundant and durable than copper or tin, democratized military power. Previously marginalized groups forged cheaper, stronger weapons, allowing them to rapidly outfit large armies and conquer massive new territories. This map traces the rapid expansion of Mediterranean trade routes, driven by two key innovations. The Lydians introduced standardized metal coinage, and the Phoenicians developed a phonetic alphabet, allowing merchants from completely different cultures to execute complex transactions instantly. In Greece, city-states experimented with highly contrasting models of political control. Athens empowered its free male citizens through a system of direct voting, while Sparta structured its entire society around militaristic discipline and an elite oligarchy. In Athens, figures like Socrates shifted the focus of human inquiry. Instead of attributing natural events purely to the whims of gods, Greek thinkers began using strict logical deduction to understand ethics, governance, and the physical world. The Roman Empire eventually absorbed these Mediterranean cultures, stretching its borders from northern Britain all the way to Mesopotamia. They maintained control over this massive territory by laying extensive physical road networks and enforcing a rigid, standardized system of law. The classical era constructed the frameworks of democracy, republican governments, and formalized logic. Long after Rome fell, these ideological structures continued to dictate how human societies organized themselves. Following Rome's collapse, Western Europe fractured into isolated feudal estates, trading agricultural labor for military protection. Concurrently, the Islamic caliphates consolidated a massive, unified empire spanning from Spain to India, preserving classical texts and advancing mathematics and medicine. Between 1347 and 1351, the Black Death followed maritime and overland trade routes, radiating deep into the European continent. Wiping out one-third of the population, labor became scarce. This line graph shows surviving peasants securing higher wages, fracturing the leverage of feudal lords. In the mid-15th century, Johannes Gutenberg adapted a screw press to use movable metal type. By drastically lowering the cost of reproducing text, this machine broke the Catholic Church's monopoly on information and accelerated the spread of political dissent. European powers soon pushed outward, initiating the Columbian Exchange, a massive transfer of crops, animals, and diseases across the Atlantic. This new global economy was built directly on the forced kidnapping and enslavement of millions of Africans to work New World plantations. The mass distribution of printed ideas and the forced collision of the Eastern and Western hemispheres destroyed regional isolation. Wealth, ideas, and human beings were now commodities in a singular, globalized economy. In the late 18th century, Britain began replacing manual agrarian labor with mechanized manufacturing. Steam engines burning coal powered massive new textile and heavy industry factories, multiplying human output to levels previously biologically impossible. Millions abandoned farming to operate these machines, packing into heavily polluted, rapidly expanding cities. This created a new industrial working class, characterized by grueling hours, child labor, and dangerously unsanitary living conditions. This mass production eventually turned toward militarization. By 1914, factories were churning out machine guns, artillery shells, and chemical weapons, converting European battlefields into mechanized slaughterhouses that claimed millions of lives. The subsequent global economic collapse of the 1930s left a desperate, impoverished public. In Germany, massive unemployment and economic instability provided an opening for Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party to seize control through the promise of violent, fascist expansion. The resulting Second World War killed tens of millions and culminated in the total destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The capacity to split the atom meant human beings could now eradicate entire cities in a fraction of a second. Within just 2 centuries, humanity transitioned from horse-drawn plows to nuclear warheads. Our ability to engineer devastating weapons had severely outpaced our capacity to manage conflicts through diplomacy. The aftermath of World War II fractured the globe into 2 highly armed ideological camps. The capitalist West and the communist East spent the next 4 decades locked in a nuclear standoff, fighting proxy wars across Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan. This intense geopolitical rivalry drove billions of dollars into aerospace engineering. The technological escalation of the space race culminated in 1969, allowing human beings to step off the Earth and onto the lunar surface. Back on the ground, marginalized populations mobilized against centuries of entrenched discrimination. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. utilized mass organization and civil disobedience to dismantle codified segregation and weaken global colonial structures. The 1991 collapse of the Soviet Union dismantled the rigid borders of the Cold War. This political thaw coincided with the rise of the Internet, accelerating international migration and allowing capital and data to cross oceans instantly. Our modern civilization relies on a hyper-efficient network of fiber optics and just-in-time supply chains. Because these systems are now so tightly integrated, a single failure, whether a viral outbreak or a localized digital blackout, can propagate across the planet in hours. This total interdependence has created a world where the same connections that drive our progress also make us vulnerable to a synchronized systemic collapse.
Did agriculture help humans settle permanent and build the world's first cities during ancient civilization? So please guys answer my question, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye and take care. And this question is literally, it's very easy. So try this my question answer, and first of all, thank you so much for watching this my video. So goodbye and take care.